There's a version of you they'll never meet. The one who sits alone at 3 a.m., staring at walls that hold more answers than any friend ever could. The one who's learned that silence isn't empty. It's where truth lives. You know that version, don't you? The one that doesn't cry anymore, doesn't beg, doesn't explain, just exists in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And that space, that's where monsters are born. Not the kind that destroy others, the kind that can't be destroyed. You think you're broken? Good. Because what comes after broken isn't weak, it's weaponized. Let me tell you what nobody talks about. That moment when you realize your best wasn't enough. When every promise you made to yourself turned into another lie. When the mirror shows someone you don't recognize, and the worst part is, you're not even disappointed anymore. You're just numb. You've been there, standing in the wreckage of your own expectations. Every goal you set, missed. Every person you trusted, gone. Every version of yourself you tried to build, collapsed. And the world keeps spinning like you never mattered at all. They tell you to stay positive, to keep your head up, to believe in yourself. But what they don't tell you is what to do when belief runs out. When hope feels like a luxury you can't afford. When getting out of bed takes more strength than most people use in a year. You know what that feels like. The weight of your own potential crushing you. The ghost of who you could have been standing over you while you rot in who you are. That's not motivational speech territory. That's the abyss. And you're staring right into it. But here's what they don't understand about the abyss. It doesn't just stare back. It reveals. It strips away every mask you've worn, every lie you've told yourself, every false identity you've built for their approval. And when there's nothing left, no dignity, no pride, no illusions, that's when you find it. The thing that doesn't need their validation, the thing that doesn't care about their opinions, the thing that was buried so deep under all your people-pleasing, all your fear, all your need to be loved, that you forgot it existed. Your raw, unfiltered will to survive. Not survive in the comfortable way. Not the it'll all work out survival. The kind that says, I'll crawl through glass. I'll bleed in silence. I'll burn every bridge, including the one to my old self, just to see what's on the other side of this darkness. That's not inspiration. That's mutation. You're not healing. You're evolving. And evolution is violent. You've spent your whole life being told that pain is temporary, that suffering builds character, that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. All pretty lies to make you swallow the poison without complaint. The truth? Pain isn't temporary when it rewrites your DNA. Suffering doesn't build character, it reveals who you actually are when the costume comes off. And what doesn't kill you? It doesn't make you stronger. It makes you dangerous. There's a difference. Strength can be measured, trained, predicted. But danger is unpredictable. It's what happens when someone has lost everything and realizes they have nothing left to protect. No reputation to maintain, no image to uphold, no fear of judgment because judgment already happened and they survived it. You've become that, and you didn't even notice when it happened. It started small. The first time you didn't cry when you wanted to. The first time you swallowed your anger and let it ferment into something colder. The first time you looked someone in the eye who hurt you and felt nothing. Not forgiveness, not hatred, just indifference. That's when you knew something fundamental had shifted. You stopped caring about being understood, because being understood requires you to shrink yourself into a shape that fits their comprehension, and you're done shrinking. You stop caring about being liked, because being liked requires you to be palatable, predictable, safe, and you're none of those things anymore. You stop caring about being successful by their definition, because their definition requires you to play a game with rules designed to keep you small, and you're not playing anymore. What they see as giving up, that's you shedding weight, dead weight, the weight of expectations you never signed up for, the weight of dreams that were never yours, the weight of a version of yourself that was always an act. And now you're light, not happy light, not free light, hollow light, the kind that comes from having nothing left to lose because you already lost it. The kind that makes you float through situations that would drown others because you've already drowned and learned to breathe underwater. They think you're depressed. They think you've lost your spark, but you haven't lost anything. You've just stopped pretending. And what's underneath the pretending isn't pretty. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be effective. There's a specific kind of power that only comes from complete destruction, not partial failure, not setbacks, total annihilation of everything you thought you were. Most people never experience this. They live their entire lives with some backup plan, some safety net, some identity they can fall back on when things get hard, so they never have to face the question that haunts you. Who am I when everything is gone? You know the answer now, and it's not comforting. It's not the hero you imagined. It's not the person who rises with grace and inspires others with their resilience. It's something else, something quieter, something that doesn't need an audience. It's the part of you that wakes up when there's no reason to wake up and does it anyway. Not because of hope, not because of faith, because the alternative, staying down, feels like surrender. And surrender isn't in your vocabulary anymore. It's the part of you that does the work when no one's watching, when there's no progress to post, no milestone to celebrate, no validation to receive. Just you and the task and the suffocating awareness that this is your life now. Repetition without reward. Effort without recognition. Showing up to a fight. You're not even sure you want to win, but you show up anyway. That's not strength. That's possession. You're possessed by something that refuses to stop. Something that doesn't care about your feelings, your doubts, your fear. It just moves. And you've learned to get out of its way. People notice the change but can't name it. You're not more confident. Confidence implies uncertainty conquered. You're certain, not certain you'll succeed. Certain that failure no longer defines you, because you've failed at everything and you're still here. You're not more motivated. Motivation is for people who need reasons. You don't need reasons anymore. This is just what you do, like breathing, like bleeding, like existing. You move forward because staying still feels like dying and you're not ready to die, not because life is precious, because you haven't finished yet. Finished what? You don't even know. That's the terrifying part. You're driven by something you can't name towards something you can't see, for reasons you can't explain. And it should feel crazy, but it doesn't. It feels right, like you finally stopped fighting who you actually are and surrendered to it. Not surrendered like giving up, surrendered like acceptance. You've accepted that you're not the hero. You're not the inspiration. You're the warning. The warning of what happens when someone refuses to stay broken. When someone takes every piece of their shattered life and doesn't try to glue it back together. They forge something new from the fragments. Something that doesn't look like the original. Something that doesn't need to. They left. Of course they left. People don't stick around for the dark part. They love the success montage. They love the comeback story when it's clean and packaged and inspirational. But the middle, the ugly, messy, honest middle where you're not inspiring, you're just surviving, they don't have the stomach for that. And you don't blame them. How could you? You wouldn't want to be around you either. You've become uncomfortable to be near. Not because you're cruel, because you're real. And real is terrifying to people who live in comfortable illusions. You don't laugh at their jokes the same way. You don't pretend their problems are deep. You don't participate in the performance of normalcy that social interaction requires. You've seen too much of yourself to fake enthusiasm for surface level everything. So they drift. They stop calling. They stop inviting. They say you've changed, and they mean it as an accusation, like you owe them the old version of yourself. The one who was breaking quietly so they could remain comfortable. And the loneliest part? You don't even miss them. Not really. You miss the idea of connection. But connecting with people who haven't been where you've been, it feels like speaking different languages. They talk about stress. You've lived in hell. They talk about hard times. You've forgotten what easy feels like. So you sit alone. Not because you're antisocial, because you're specific now. Specific about who gets access to you. Specific about what conversations are worth having. Specific about where you invest your energy. And most people, most situations, most noise don't qualify. This isolation should hurt. It should feel like punishment. But it doesn't. It feels like clarity. Like you finally stopped apologizing for taking up space. Like you finally stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. Like you finally realized that being alone is different from being lonely. And you prefer alone. Alone is where you work. Alone is where you think. Alone is where you become. And what you're becoming doesn't need an audience. Doesn't need approval. Needs time, space, and silence. The world doesn't give those freely. So you take them. The cold discipline. Motivation is dead. It died somewhere between your third breakdown and your fourth attempt at starting over. You buried it next to hope, optimism, and the belief that things happen for a reason. What replaced it is something mechanical, something cold, a system that doesn't care how you feel. You don't wake up inspired. You wake up because that's what you do. You don't work toward goals because you're passionate. You work because the alternative is backsliding, and backsliding feels like betrayal. You've built something that doesn't need fuel. It runs on spite, on the memory of every person who counted you out, on the echo of every voice that said you'd never make it, including your own. That's darker fuel, but it burns longer. People talk about discipline like it's noble, like it's this beautiful practice of self-control. But your discipline isn't beautiful. It's survival. It's the choice you make every single day between becoming what you're capable of and rotting into what you fear. Every morning is a decision. Not will I be great today, just will I be better than yesterday? And most days the answer is barely. Most days you're not thriving, you're persisting. But persistence compounds, and you've learned that consistency beats intensity every time. You don't have good days and bad days anymore. You have days. Days where you execute. Days where you show up. Days where you do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel about it. Feelings are irrelevant now. They're just weather. And you don't cancel missions because of weather. This isn't healthy. You know that. This isn't balanced. You know that too. But balance is for people who have something to balance. You're building from nothing. And building from nothing requires extremes. It requires obsession. It requires the kind of focus that looks insane from the outside but makes perfect sense when you're in it. You've become rigid, not in personality, structure. Your routines are non-negotiable. Your standards are uncompromising. Your commitment to the process is absolute. Because you've learned something crucial. You can't trust future you to feel motivated, but you can trust past you to build systems that don't require motivation. So you built them, one after another. Small rituals that add up to transformation. Not transformation you can photograph. Transformation you can feel in the way you carry yourself, in the way you handle pressure, in the way nothing surprises you anymore, because you've already survived surprise. The silent power. You've stopped explaining yourself, not because you're rude, because explanation requires belief that understanding matters, and you've realized it doesn't. People will see what they want to see. They'll make you the villain or the victim depending on what serves their narrative. Your truth is irrelevant to their story, so you stopped offering it. This makes you mysterious to some, arrogant to others, but to yourself, clear, crystal clear, because you're not clouded by the need to be seen accurately. You know who you are. That's enough. There's power in this silence. The power of someone who's done explaining, done defending, done performing. You just exist now, and your existence is either accepted or rejected. You're indifferent either way. This indifference isn't apathy. It's sovereignty. It's what happens when external validation becomes irrelevant, because you've built internal validation so strong that nothing outside can shake it. You've become judge and jury of your own worth. And your verdict, you're enough. Not because you're perfect, not because you've arrived, because you're still here, still moving, still refusing to quit despite every logical reason to do so. That's the power they sense but can't name. You've divorced your value from outcomes. You know that you could fail at everything visible and still be valuable because your value isn't in what you achieve, it's in what you endure. And you've endured everything. Every loss, every betrayal, every disappointment, every version of yourself dying, so a newer version could be born. You've lived through transformations that would break most people, and you did it quietly. No announcements, no updates, no posts about your journey, just silent, relentless evolution happening in the dark where no one could see. And now you emerge, not as inspiration, but as inevitability, the natural result of refusing to stay down. You're rising, not in the way they expected, not with fanfare or celebration. You're rising like pressure, like steam, like something that was compressed so long it has no choice but to expand. And they feel it. They don't understand it, but they feel it. That's why they're uncomfortable. That's why they distance themselves. Because growth makes people nervous, especially the kind of growth that doesn't ask permission. You're not waiting anymore, not waiting to feel ready, not waiting for the right time, not waiting for permission from anyone, including yourself. You're moving because staying still is no longer an option. Every day you're shedding another layer of who you used to be, another belief that limited you, another fear that controlled you, another story you told yourself about why you couldn't. And underneath all those layers, something raw, something primal, something that was always there but you kept caged because it scared you. You're letting it out now, not all at once. You're not reckless, but gradually, carefully, letting it taste freedom, letting it remember what it feels like to be unchained. And the more you let it out, the more you realize this is who you actually are. Everything else was costume. The polite version, costume. The people-pleasing version, costume. The version that apologized for existing, costume. This raw, unfiltered, uncompromising force, this is you, and you're done hiding it. Not because you want to intimidate, because hiding it was killing you. Slowly, quietly. The same way comfort kills. The same way safety kills. The same way playing small kills. You were dying by degrees and you didn't even notice until you stopped. Now you're alive. Painfully, intensely, overwhelmingly alive. And being this alive is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Comfort is for corpses. You're not dead. You're the furthest thing from it. This isn't a success story, not yet. Maybe not ever. Because success implies an ending, and this doesn't end. This is just what you are now. A perpetual state of becoming. Never finished. Never satisfied. Never at peace. Because peace is for people who've accepted their limits. You haven't accepted anything. You've declared war on your own potential. You've decided that whatever you think you're capable of is wrong. It's bigger, darker, stranger, more than you can imagine from where you're standing. So you keep walking into the unknown. Not because you're brave, because staying where you are feels like suffocation. You need to know what you're capable of, not for anyone else, for you. Because the question, what if, haunts you more than failure ever could. This path you're on, it's not for everyone. Most people will choose comfort. They'll choose stability. They'll choose the known over the possible. And that's fine. That's their choice. But you chose different. You chose the hard way, the lonely way, the way that doesn't promise anything except the opportunity to find out who you become when you refuse to quit. And what you're becoming, time will tell. But whatever it is, it won't be ordinary. It can't be. Ordinary people don't survive what you've survived. Ordinary people don't endure what you've endured. Ordinary people stay broken. You didn't. So here's what happens next. You stop reading this like it's about someone else. You stop pretending you're just getting motivated. You look in the mirror and you acknowledge what you already know. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago, a year ago. You've died and resurrected so many times you've lost count. And the question isn't whether you can keep going. You will. That's not even a choice anymore. It's who you are. The question is, what are you going to do with this darkness you've cultivated? This strength you've built in silence? This version of yourself that doesn't need permission or approval or anything from anyone? You're going to use it, not to destroy others, to build something they said was impossible, to become someone they said you couldn't, to prove, not to them but to yourself, that you were right. That voice inside that said keep going when everything said stop, that voice was right. You are still breathing, and as long as you're breathing, you're still dangerous, still evolving, still becoming. They haven't seen the final form. You haven't seen it yet, but it's coming. Forged in silence, built in darkness, born from the ashes of every version of yourself that wasn't strong enough. This is your ascension, not loud, not visible, not approved by anyone, just inevitable. Now stop watching and become it.